Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, my juicy little lights. Thank you, little light, you're delicious and bright. We must choose love. Oh, they're lovely and bright, my little lights. Now, then, my delicious little babies, yeah. So I hope that wherever you are in the world, that you're having a super duper and beautiful time, wherever you are, okay? Yeah, I've just been listening to a video, actually. I haven't wrote it down. I'll have to write it down because I'm halfway through listening to it. It's about nearly 17 minutes long. And what is it? What's the channel called? Is it capital N, no, and then space, capital T, thyself, and then space, capital C, clips. I think it was about 4 days ago the video was uploaded onto YouTube, my delicious little babies, and it's all about why we exist. And of course, your man there, what he's talking about, and with anybody not in that way, what your man's talking about is, and he also talks about materialism. Yeah, I've talked about this, my delicious little babies. Me, myself, personally, I am not materialistic, not at all. Because I've been there, I've done it, there we are, and I got the T-shirt. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies. I just never felt, how can we explain it? Very comfortable. I just never felt very comfortable that way, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? It's like, for some, it's like they have to have the most up-to-date car and things like this now then. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? To me, a car's a car. It gets you from A to B, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Or C to D. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, simple things, simple as that. You know what I mean? So you could have what they used to call an old banger, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies. But if it gets you to A to B to C to D, well, does it matter? But this is the world that we're living in. But what he's also talking about is love, and you see, when we were put here, I totally agree. So I'm not being rude, disrespectful. I mean, it's a very pleasant video, actually, and the comments are really lovely as well. But to myself, I don't need to listen to a video to know that really what the world needs now is love, sweet love. You know what I mean? Because we were really put here, there we are, to love, not in that way, to love one another. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? But then you have all of this materialism, you have all of this, what I regard as, to me, it's just a waste of time. There we are, my delicious little babies. My shoulders went up there. It's just a waste of time. You know what I mean? Because if you do not have any form of a love in your life, whether that be with friends, whether it be with family, in some cases, work colleagues, for some they may not really have a family, but they've got work colleagues, you know what I mean? Unless you have that, or you have our beautiful little babies who we call our sons and daughters. So unless you have that, well, what does it all really mean? Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Now then, I must tell you this. I went out to go and, before I say anything else, right, I'll just go tell you about something. I've got an itchy nose this afternoon, sorry. It's 12:30 p.m, by the way, my delicious little babies as well. Well, it's just gone. And the weather, just to tell you this, the weather is, it's very grey today, my delicious little babies. There's no sunshine, and it's gone cooler. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it's been hot the past few days, my delicious little babies. Okay, so now they've decided to back to grey. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now I've got to tell you this before I tell you the other what I want to tell you. So yeah, that video there. Oh, that video there, my delicious little baby. Sorry about that. It's well worth a little listen. Okay, my delicious little baby. Should anybody have any form of an interest, I never needed to stumble there. Yeah, so that putrid Bill Gates is at it again, my delicious little babies, and it is all about fake butter. Now, if you was to go on to Jimmy Dore on YouTube, my delicious little babies, for some of you, you will know Jimmy Dore. For others of you, you may not have heard of Jimmy Dore, okay? He's got 1.6 million subscribers now, my delicious little babies, so the numbers are going up with everybody who I advertise. Some a little bit slower than others, and others quicker than others. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, anyway? And this is all to do with, that putrid piece of shit, Gates. At it again. Fake butter, my delicious little babies, okay? Fake butter. Okay, so not only do they want us to eat flipping damn mealworms, which of course they have been sneaking, and I'll repeat this again, into flour, there we are, and things like this now then. Okay, my delicious little babies, which of course us as mankind and our beautiful little babies are not meant to eat anything like that, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? But of course, these quite frankly, couldn't give an effing shout, my delicious little babies. Yeah, so it's all fake butter. So they're trying to sell that. Okay, my delicious little babies. You know what he is? He's a piece of effing shart, man. There we are. That's what he is. He's a piece of effing shart. And how he's been allowed to get away with doing all of these nasty things now. And he laughs about it. He's a piece of effing shart, man. Do you know what I mean? How he's got away with this, I just do not know. Well, it'd be very interesting. Good luck with that, because I personally cannot see many who's going to be wanting to eat fake butter, my delicious babies. Oh, but of course, for the rich and everything like this now, then, so they can eat real butter, but they want you and I out here in the world, my delicious babies, to eat fake butter. Just like lab-grown meat and all of this, but they can eat what they want. They can eat the top, sad meat and everything like that. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies, okay? You see, I'm just amazed, okay, how many, so I do not mean this in a nasty way, but I'm just amazed at how many, up until this point, have allowed this. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? For all of the nasty things now that they've been doing. Do you see what I mean, okay? So I'm not inciting anything. I'm just saying that if everybody said no to this shat, you know what I mean, and never even give the likes of that putrid effing Bill Gates a stage, then they would just scurry away back under the damn rocks where they belong, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean, okay? But of course, this is what's in the world, my delicious little babies. It makes you damn rank sick, man. You want to get a bucket and project into it. So they're making one so poorly with all of these, and like that doesn't mean like an artificial colourings, flavourings, and everything like this. They just do not want us to be healthy, my delicious little babies, not at all. And like on my video yesterday with my cousin, Sean, and I was showing, I bought some, some compost, my delicious little babies. I tell you what, I remember when it used to be what I would say very good compost, but this isn't. It looks like it's been smoked out or something. I don't know. It just looked terrible. My delicious little babies, do you see what I mean? But this is what they're doing. It's like, and it's like supermarkets and everything like this, It's like, with the things that they're selling. Okay, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? But the one thing that these putrid do not want is anybody to be healthy, quite clearly, my delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? So you have to watch what you're eating. It's like when they say, what's it to do, low fat? Well, come on. There's nothing, there we are, low fat about it. In fact, that's got more sugars, there we are, and more other, all of these little nasties, as I call it, okay, in it, rather than having anything low fat and healthy, my delicious babies. But of course, ones genuinely, there we are, to their heart, believe, oh, well, if I get low fat, I'm not talking about everybody, my delicious babies. No, I'm not, but you do have some where they, oh, if I get low fat, it means that, I'm being healthy. Well, no, not at all, my delicious babies. Do you see what I mean? This is big business. It's a lot of ching, 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 because they know, sorry, excuse me, pardon me, they know that that ones, for ones who do want to be healthy. I mean, for myself, here's an example. What I do is, because I like the Greek uh, yogurt, my delicious little babies, okay? So all that I do, so rather than buy a normal yogurt, because they certainly do not taste the way that they used to taste, okay, my delicious little babies, not at all, okay? I will just, put some fruit, fresh fruit, and a little drizzle of honey. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So that's what I do. You see what I mean? Because because what we must remember is they're making very large quantities, you know what I mean, of different yogurts and things like this now then. But at least when I, use me Greek yogurt, my little babies, at least I know, and with the fruit, at least I know what's going into it. Do you understand what I mean, my little babies? Do you say? So, it's just like things like this. Now, then, very lastly, what I want to talk about, because I must get a couple of readings done today, my delicious little babies. I'm totally coming off track where I should be. Okay, my delicious little babies. It's only because of what goes on in the world. I just like to make a point. Do you understand what I mean? But for anybody out there, please, when this butter starts flirting around, my strong advice would be to not eat any of it, my delicious little babies. That would be the best advice that I can give. You see, our body needs natural. Like, I mean, I do understand that some mankind are allergic. They're allergic to certain things. Okay, but again, we need to question that, my delicious little babies. Okay. As to why somebody, or some bodies would be allergic to something. Okay, my delicious little babies, all right? Because I don't trust any of these effers. There we are, my delicious little babies. No, I do not. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But you see, our bodies need, whether it be dairy, but you notice that, like, they say, oh, dairy free and everything. I mean, they're doing it in the nurseries, my delicious little babies, and I nurse her because I knew somebody who was working in the nursery, doing some chef work. And, it's like they're banning, what's it called? Like all proper dairy and everything. Well, I mean, if that was with one of my daughters, in a nursery like that, and that's what they were doing, well, I tell you what, the likelihood is, there we are, I'd take my daughters out of that nursery. Because, because when you're growing up, you need healthy bones, healthy body, healthy skin, so for, to get rid of dairy, which our body, there we are, needs, everything what our body needs, they try to ban. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Even like with watermelon, I mean, look at water, that's just came into my noddle. I mean, I remember when I was looking at BitChute videos, my delicious little babies, and where they were having exploding watermelons, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? I mean, who in their right noddle would do that, to fruit, that ones want to eat? Because even if you look at how many actually buy watermelons, there are a lot who buy watermelons, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Me personally, I'm just not too keen. I like the yellow one. I do, my delicious little babies. I don't like the others, okay? But the amount of, and they even inject that. They were doing that in India, my delicious little babies. They inject it with, it's like a red dye. Do you see what I mean, mad little babies, okay? I did a tester of that, when I went and bought a watermelon martinish babies, and I did a test that on one of my videos. And because it was showing, because I dabbed it with some kitchen roll, because it was showing some red in it, I binned it. Do you know what I mean? Martinish babies, okay? But that's what they do. They do everything, there we are, to make us poorly because it feeds, these giants, big pharma, martinish babies, you know what I mean? So to have us healthy is not beneficial to them. Martinish babies, do you see what I mean? Okay. Yeah. So what is it that I want to talk about? Very lastly, yeah, I went out to go and do a reading the other day, Martinish babies, and it was so lovely because I haven't been doing readings for a while now, my delicious little babies. Anyway, but somebody called me to, could I please come out to them? And I said yes, because they happen to be, like a disabled, okay, my delicious little babies. And you know what was absolutely so beautiful? I had a really good, how can I explain? I had a really good link. It's like my dear spirit guides, my beautiful dear little spirit guides, and me clients, beautiful dear little spirit guides. It's like they were bouncing off each other, you know what I mean? So, who it was extremely happy with their reading. And then I just done a bit of healing on their shoulders. I says, if you just go and sit in the chair, please. If you can sit in the chair, I says, and I'll just do your healing. And they said, I feel much better because, they were just going through a stage of not being very happy, Martinish babies, Kai. And then I just sprinkled some salt, in corners of the rooms, you know what I mean, Martinish babies, just to lift that energy. Because I really could feel something in that house, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So I did say I'll come back at another time and then I'll cleanse it. Okay, my delicious little babies. But what was really beautiful was, the sage, was how many of my dear clients' uh, family, who'd passed away, my delicious little babies, how many of them stepped forward, and I was giving out names and everything, and and of course, it was like a yes every time. Do you see what I mean? Now I've never met my client, I'd never met them before. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but what was just so beautiful is how much love that was surrounding my dear client, from their dear family, in spirit, my delicious babies. It was just absolutely wonderful. In all of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of readings that I've done over the decades, my delicious babies, okay, I've never seen so many. It was just beautiful. And I said, you're truly blessed. I said, because you got all your dear loved ones and everything. Do you know what I mean? I said, there we are. I said, they're all keeping an eye on you. And I was giving out years, which of course would be, when they were born and things like this now. Do you see what I mean? Okay. And it was just absolutely lovely. And I just wanted to share that with you, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? I just thought, how lovely is this? And there were a lot, Okay, my delicious little babies. But yeah, so I was really happy. I was super duper happy with doing that reading, my delicious little babies. And not only that, but with the healing. This is like a genuine who really needed that healing. So all I did was the shoulders, and they just said to me, they said, I feel like, I felt like something shook inside of their body. And then they started to be uplifted. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babes? They even called me the next day to say thank you again. And I thought, how lovely is that, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? So at least I felt like I could help somebody. They were like, you know what I mean, my delicious babies? This is why I need to get my website done, you say, because um to advertise, sorry, bit here, so that I could advertise me my healing, my cleansing, and my tarot reading. Do you know what I mean? Because there are absolutely thousands out there, my delicious babies, there we are, who really need the help. Do you see what I mean? So I really got to get my skates on with this. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Anyway, So that's the end of my video. So please, if you can, please keep away from flipping fake butter, delicious babies, you know what I mean? Because heaven knows what it would be doing to one's insides. You know what I mean? Delicious babies. They're putrid, man, what they're doing. Absolutely putrid. You know what I mean? Delicious babies. They make me damn sick, man. They really, really do. Anyway, so until my next video, sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. How I love you so. You are super duper delicious, and I love you. Okay. Oh, and the other thing I just want to say before I go, oh, poor Alex Balfield, bless him. Well, I mean, they're on his back. You know, I don't mean literal terms, it's figure of speech, martyristic ways, but they're flipping on his back. You know, and it's all to do with, you know, because he's a, you know, comedian and everything and a journalist. Well, you know that anyway, martyristic babies. And, you know, so he's not been able to, you know, do his shows. I mean, imagine everybody who's paid, or if they pay for hotels and, you know, and everything. I just feel sorry for him, I do. You know what I mean? Mad delicious babies. Because at the end of the day, I mean, you know, bless his dear little soul, you know, not in that way, not in that way. But, you know, he went somewhere, which I personally do not feel myself that was correct at all, mad delicious babies. But now that he's out, why don't they just leave him alone? The poor man. Do you understand what I mean? It's like constantly, you know, because you imagine if you're living like that every day, you know what I mean, and you're getting this bombarded at you, that bombarded at you, you know what I mean, and of course, you know, they're doing to others, you know, when ones are getting arrested, you know, just for having, you know, what they feel is that we are freedom of speech. I mean, really, to myself, I feel that this has gone too far. There we are. It really, really has, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? This is just ridiculous. You know, just so that ones cannot speak freely, you know, to say that they do not like what's going on in their country. And in our case, in our old England, martyristic babies, you know what I mean? So you're not allowed to say, you know, the things that you do not like. Because, come on, for flipping decades, we've been effing shafted, man. For decades, we have. Do you see what I mean? They're just taking the pee. Oh, and I was listening to Ben Habib as well, Martyristic Babies, this morning. And, yeah, and he was talking about, you know, this EU business, that we're not fully, you know, out of it, okay? Well, I've been, there we are. I've been long time saying this. There we are, long time. Again, they're flipping lard through the damn teeth now. Do you see what I mean, Martyristic Babies, okay? I just knew that we're not fully out of it. I already knew. There we are. I was talking about it long time. Do you know what I mean? My delicious slick baby, see I'm stumbling here. Every reason to, because we've been lied to again. But ones are now realising more and more, you know, all of the lads that who are supposed to be looking after us smart delicious babies in our old England, all the lads that they tell. So there's becoming less and less and less who trust. They call themselves leaders and everything, mad delicious babies, you know what I mean? What are they supposed to be leading? Okay, but anyway, Ben Habib, I think he's trying to run what they're calling it, advances. Like I said before, what you need is say one or two businessmen. There we are. I've been long time saying this. One or two businessmen, okay, who are genuine to their heart, genuine, okay, to the country. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Either that, you know, and ones who want to work, you know, to help us and to help our country to thrive, my delicious little babies, okay? Or the only other thing to do would just not to be governed at all. There we are. My delicious little babies, do you know what I mean? Because I do believe, and I'll repeat this again, you know, we may have a few teething problems here and there, but the fact of the matter is, there we are, we can man our own ship. You see what I mean? So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Ben Habib, I mean, there we are. He does talk damn well common sense, okay? But my only issue, as with anything, is that, a lot can be chat, isn't it? But the fact of the matter is, until you actually see it, there we are, get done. Do you see what I mean? So I'm not saying that he doesn't talk common sense and all that, but what I'm saying is that, it's like anything that they tell you what, that ones want to hear. And then once in power, it's a different story altogether. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? We've seen it time and time and time again until we blew in the flipping bird rest. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? But I just believe now that, we should just, do you know what I mean? Because if they're going to lie to us and they serve us, okay, my delicious little babies, not the other way around, okay? If they're going to lie to us, well, they shouldn't be, and I believe any government in the world, they should not be in power. And all of these going off for secret meetings and all of this kind of thing now, do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies? What is it that they say behind closed doors that we're not allowed to hear, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? I would say that is very devious, wouldn't you, my delicious little babies? Because we should know everything, there we are, we should know everything, my delicious little babies. We shouldn't have things hidden from us. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay? I think it's very sneaky. There we are. It's very sly. It really is, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so that's the end of my video, okay? So whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies, okay? And you know what I'm seeing lately? I'm walking around, and what I'm seeing? Socks. They're going through the socks business now, my delicious little babies. You know, like a sock that you put on your foot. Socks. Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, I'll just take the notice. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? It's just better to do that. I'm just not going to stress myself out with it. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Carry on, whatever they're doing. Anyway, my delicious little babies. So until my next video, you just take care now. Okay, please try to take care of others because we are in a bonkers, crackers, and crazy world. Okay, so I love you. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.